Hey everybody, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this birds of a feather cowl. So to make this cowl, I used two different colors, one solid color and a variegated color. Now the variegated color can be the same type of yarn that this is. What I mean is, this was worsted weight yarn, the solid color, which is 4-ply for the US, 10-ply for Australia. Now I also used the variegated, which can also be ply 4, but just so happened that this was ply 3, which is DK in Australia. It may be better, I don't know, but I'm going to be showing you with two worsted weight, and it's going to be two solid colors. That way it'll be easier to follow along. So go ahead and pick whatever color you want for your main color, which I'm going to be using this light color as I used for the black here, and I'm using my gold color for the birds of a feather stitch. I also used a 5mm hook or a size H hook for the US, and I believe I used one skein of solid color and one skein of multi, even less than that because I still had enough. I also made a hat with this exact same color combination. And you can find that tutorial for the butterfly, not butterfly, I always want to say butterfly, birds of a feather slouch hat. If you want to find that information, you can find the links down below this video. So if you're wondering about the size that this makes, cowl circumference all the way around was 79 centimeters or 31 inches. And the width is 24 centimeters or 9 inches wide. To get that size, I had a chain of 102. And the way you want to do this stitch, because the birds of a feather stitch is a stitch of 2, is you want to do an even number. So you can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then whenever you're ready to start, you think you have it big enough, then add that +2 at the end. So if you want to do like I did 100, then you want to do +2, so 102, and then you're ready to start. So grab your very first color that you want to use for this border stitch. Typically it's a darker color, but because for the purposes of this tutorial I want to make sure you can see, go ahead and grab one that goes good with the variegated stitch or with another really pretty color you've been holding on to. Okay, so I did a chain of 40. And remember, once you have your even number done, you want to do a chain of 2. So 1 and 2. Now you're going to be ready to make in the round. So how you do that is you want to go down your chain, and then basically you're going to be working in what's the bottom loop here is going to be your top. So you're going to be going into, from the top, that bottom loop, and then slip stitch to create the complete loop. Now you can hold it here and just kind of check, make sure that it's not twisted, and mine isn't. So now I'm ready to begin round 1. So to begin round 1, you want to do a chain of 2. And the chain 2 is just a step up for this whole pattern. You will never use the chain 2 for the actual crocheting. You want to do a double crochet into that same beginning stitch that you just slip stitch into. So do your double crochet. Now that's going to count as your first stitch. Now you want to do a double crochet all the way around. This is what I call the base row. It's going to give you that strength and border the look of the butterfly. The birds. I think they look like birds. When I was looking for a unique way to call this particular stitch, which is really only a cross stitch. If you've ever done a cross stitch, then that's what this is. But I named all this its own unique name, so because I planned on making a whole set. and I did. You can find all those links down below, the whole set to make this. Okay, so you're probably asking which chain that I'm using, and I'm using only that top chain, and I'm leaving the other two alone, which can be good if you want to put another border on this side, but if you don't use those, then you get this nice little border, natural border that happens. So go ahead and do a double crochet all the way around, and I will see you at the end of round 1. Okay, I'm coming to the very end of my round here, and what you want to do at the end is count your stitches. I had 42, so I should have 42 at the end of this row. Remember, don't count that beginning chain. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42. So once you have your 100 or whatever stitches you began with, when you get to the end of your round, remember, don't slip stitch in the chain, slip stitch in that beginning double crochet, and that ends round 1. So for round 2, you want to do a chain of 2 for the step up, and then you're going to double crochet in that same stitch. Now the birds of a feather stitch or cross stitch take 2 rows to complete. So this will be the prep row. So once you get your first double crochet, you're going to do a chain of 2, skip 2, and double crochet in the next. And these 2 skip stitches are going to be what we're going to be using to make our birds of a feather stitch. First you'll skip this one, you'll use this one, then you'll go back. And that's how you make that cross. That's why they call it the cross stitch. So chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet in the next. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next. So you're going to keep doing this for the entire round. So it's chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. So continue to do this for round 2, and I will see you when you get to the end. Okay, when you get to the end of round 2, you should have 2 stitches left. I went ahead and did my double crochet, chain 2, and let me back up 1, because at the end of the round you only need to chain 1. So double crochet, chain 1, skip those 2, and by slip stitching in this beginning double crochet, you're going to create that second chain that you need here. So find the beginning double crochet, skip that beginning chain, slip stitch into that first stitch, and see, you make that second chain. Now you want to change your color here. For round 3, we're going to be changing to our second color, which for me is going to be this gold color, but I found that variegated colors look so much better, but you decide what you want to use. I don't know what you have on you. Now how I change my color is very basic. All I do is I take the yarn and just fold it a little bit. Then I use this little folded part here, and I just feed that folded part through my loop I have. Then just pull on to tighten the loop, just pull on the color, and then chain 2. Actually, chain 1, because for this row, for round 3, we're going to be doing a single crochet worked in the very first double crochet. And you can pull that, tighten it. Okay, now we should be good on the color. Now, like I was telling you before, we're going to be doing those cross stitches that I'm calling the birds of a feather stitch. gonna yarn over, you're gonna skip that very first stitch, and then the next stitch, gonna put a double crochet. Now you want to yarn over and put a double crochet in that previous double crochet that you had just skipped. Now you're going to be putting a single crochet in your double crochet, and you're going to go under both loops of that stitch. You're going to be putting single crochets in all your double crochets this round, and you're going to be doing your working these 2 stitches in between the same way, skipping the first, double crocheting in the second one first, and then backing up and double crocheting in the previous one, and then single crochet in the double crochet. And you're going to continue to do this for all of round 3, and this will complete the full round of the Birds of a Feather stitch, because like I said, this was the prep row, and now we're doing the complete, because you see how it's worked also in the same spot. So I count that as just one row, and you're going to need a total of 5 of those. So you're going to repeat rows 2 and 3 until you have 5 complete rows of these. So go ahead and finish this round. I'll show you how to end the row, and then I'll show you on the actual cowl what it looks like. Okay, I did my last cross stitch here on the end. And to end your round, you want to find that beginning single crochet, and you're going to slip stitch in that beginning single crochet to end your round. Now this is where you'd want to pick up your other color and slip it in, pull that other color tight, and then chain 2, and then double crochet into that beginning single crochet. Then you'll be repeating round 2, which is double crochet, chain 2, which is going to make you skip over this cross stitch, and you're going to double crochet into the single crochet. So you're going to chain 2, double crochet into the single crochet, chain 2, and then double crochet into the single crochet. And you want to complete this all the way around. And do not cut your yarn. You will be continuing to pull it up so that you don't have all these tails and stuff to cut at the end. So go ahead and repeat that, and I'll show you how to do the next round. I got to the end of my round. This is round 4. And I did my last double crochet, and remember, the last double crochet, you only want to do a chain of 1. Find that beginning double crochet, slip stitch into it to create that second chain and to end the row. Now this is where you'll grab your other color, back up again, and slip it into your loop. So for round 5, you're going to go ahead and chain 1, and then single crochet into that beginning double crochet. Be careful not to crochet over that other color. Let's move it out of the way. Now we're going to be doing our cross stitches again, and you're going to be using the cross stitches to make the next cross stitches. So go ahead and do a cross stitch there and single crochet into your double crochets. Then do your cross stitch using your previous cross stitch. And then do your single crochet. And that's how you're going to be repeating your rows. Now this is going to be the second complete. So you had rows 2 and 3, and then 4 and 5, and then you'll do 6 and 7, 8 and 9, and then 10 and 11. There'll be 5 completed. Yeah, 5 completed. So on row 12 is when we'll change, and I'll show you how to do that, but I'll complete this row first so we have more of a base. So you can see, we'll get to the beginning of this thing here. You can see how I carried up my yarn, and you can't really notice it on the inside. I mean, on the outside. On the inside, obviously. But on the outside, you won't be able to tell that you pull those up. And you can see that there's 5 complete rows on the top part and 5 complete rows on the bottom part. And this goes all the way up to row 11. And then I'll show you what to do on row 12. So go ahead and complete your full 5 rows of birds of a feather stitch, or you can call it cross stitch, which is what it is. Like I said, if you want to look up just cross stitch, you're going to find a million patterns out there. So I wanted to name it something that the whole set could be found easily. So if you look up birds of a feather, Melodora, you're probably going to find all of the, the cowl, the hat, and the gloves. But I'll leave those links down below for you too. So anyway, go ahead and finish your 5 complete rows, and I'll see you back here on round 12. Okay, so when you have your 5 complete rows of the cross stitch or birds of a feather stitch, you want to go ahead and switch over to your solid color, because we're going to be making this middle section here. And it's going to be this dark color, the very beginning base row. And I just noticed I think I noticed this before too, the black color is not the cross stitch. The cross stitch is the multicolor, but just those double crochets really make it almost look like a heart, doesn't it? It's really cool. It really matters the color that you use for the base color. Anyway, we're going to be doing this row this time, which is the dark color. And as you can see, if you use the dark color here, when you do the next row, it shows through. So it's a really cool looking effect. Okay, so we're going to be doing round 12. So we're going to switch our color without cutting it, just like we did before. We're going to pick up that color, slip it through our hook, pull the other color to tighten it. Now for round 12, you're going to chain 2, which will not count as a stitch, and you're going to do a double crochet in that single crochet space. Now you want to put a double crochet in all the stitches. So in each of your cross stitch and your single crochets, you're going to be putting 1 double crochet, and you'll be ending with the same amount of stitches that you start with. So I started with like 42 here, so I should have 42 stitches at the end of my round. So whatever amount you started with, you should end with that as well. So go ahead for round 12 and do a double crochet in all your stitches around, and I'll see you when you get to the end. Okay, I reached the end of my round. I counted my stitches. I have 40. This would be a time to untwist your yarn so that it's separate again. And when you're done, remember, slip stitch in the beginning, double crochet, and then you want to pick up your variegated color or your other solid color. And we're going to be doing a chain of 2 to start. And now we're going to be doing back post. And to do back post, you come in, we're not going to be doing the chain 2, remember it's not really a stitch. So the very first double crochet, you come in from behind it, from the back, without grabbing the other stitch, the other color, then push it back, pull up the loop, and then you'll be double crocheting as normal. Yarn over, coming from the back, push that double crochet back, yarn over, pull up a loop, double crochet as normal. And you're going to want to do this for all of the double crochets this round, for round 13. And you can see already that it's starting to make this color here. So continue all the way around, and I'll see you when you get to the end of the round. Okay, I reached the end of round 13, And again, you don't want to use that beginning chain 2, slip stitch, and the beginning double crochet. And then again, we're going to switch colors. So grab up your solid color again, slip it through our loop. Now again, you want to chain 2, and in the first double crochet, you want to do a double crochet. And again, we're going to do like we did here for round 12. For round 14, we're just going to be doing a double crochet in all your stitches around. So go ahead and do double crochets for all your stitches, and I will see you at the end of round 14. Okay, at the end of round 14, slip stitch in that beginning double crochet, and then you're going to switch colors again back to your variegated color, your secondary color. And again, we're going to repeat what we did on the previous row. On round 13, you're going to begin by chaining 2, and then we're going to be doing a back post double crochet worked on this very first double crochet. And you're going to do that for the whole round, working back post double crochets on all your double crochets. So continue this around for round 15, and I'll see you at the end of your round. Okay, at the end of round 15, you're going to slip stitch in the beginning double crochet, and we're going to switch back over to our solid color again. Well, they're both solid colors, but I'm saying that just because it's on the pattern like that, just to not confuse you. Our main color. I guess this will be our secondary color. Okay, so our main color. And now we finished this middle section here, and now we're going to be starting our birds of a feather stitch again. So for round 16, you want to chain 2, double crochet in that first stitch. Confusing myself here. That was my first stitch. I did double crochet. Oh yeah, that's why, because I did back post here. So this beginning chain stitch is not where my first stitch is. My first stitch is here. So that's what's confusing me. So if it's confusing you too, now you know why. Hopefully I wasn't alone on that. Okay, so let me start this again. So I'm going to chain 2, which doesn't start, is not the beginning stitch. Your beginning stitch will be that very first back post double crochet. So we'll put a double crochet in that. Now we're going to be repeating what we did before down here on our base, which I guess would be row 2. So do a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. So go ahead and do that for round 16, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Okay, so I reached the end of round 16, and again at the last double crochet of the row, you only want to chain 1 and then slip stitch in that beginning double crochet to end your round. There's still that street sweeper outside. I really hope you can't hear that. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my secondary color or variegated color, whichever you're using here. And for round 17, I'm going to be doing the second part of our cross stitch or birds with feather stitch. So you're going to chain 1 and do a single crochet in that very first double crochet. And then you're going to be doing your cross stitch here. So skipping the first and doing a double crochet in the second. So you're going to be doing your birds of a feather stitch through the whole round 17. And don't forget, you are single crocheting in the tops of your double crochets, and then you're doing your cross stitch using those 2 stitches below, and then single crochet in your double crochet. So continue to do this all the way around. I'll see you here at the end of round 17. Okay, when you get to the end, you want to slip stitch in that beginning single crochet. Then you're going to pick up your main color, and again you're going to chain 2, and you're going to double crochet in that beginning single crochet. And this is where we start our chain 2 and then double crochet in our single crochet. Chain 2 and then double crochet in our single crochet. And again we're making our 5 complete rounds of butterfly stitches. Butterfly stitches, I keep saying butterfly stitches. We're making 5 complete rounds of cross stitches or birds of a feather stitch. I mess with my butterflies a lot, whether it be my butterfly shawls or my butterfly stitch. I don't know if you can tell, but I like butterflies. So this round is going to be the prep row, and then of course we're going to finish it up by doing the cross stitch in all those. So going to continue to do this all the way around, and I'll show you how to end the bottom of your cowl. Okay, so when you get your 5 rows done, as you can see, you'll be on this side. When you get those 5 rows done, I'm going to show you how to make this border real quick. It's just really simple, and as you can see, it's going to be using your solid color, your base color, your main color, whatever you want to call it, so that it matches up to the end. So you're going to slip stitch in that beginning stitch. So this will be round 26. So you're going to chain 2 and you're going to double crochet in that very first stitch. And then it's just going to be a solid row of double crochets all the way around. Very basic, but very simple, just like at the very beginning. So you can see it'll look the same. And you can choose to put another border on the outside or make this cowl as thicker, you know, as you want. If you want it to be more than 5 rows on this side, you can make it, you know, 10 on either side of the border if you want. It's your cowl, you can do whatever you want with it. Feel free to make them and sell them if you like. They're your cowls. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, I got to the end of my round, and again, slip stitch in that beginning double crochet. And this is where I would usually chain 1, cut my yarn, and then I would be done. So this is what it looks like, the finished product, and this is what it looked like with solid colors. But of course it's a mini one. Yeah, it would be a bit much to to wear like a bracelet, but it's still cute. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to find me on social media, I'm on Facebook a lot. I have a Facebook page called Daily Crochet Patterns where I share patterns, not just my own, but from other designers as well. So it's a good free pattern source. Also, you can find the link to this kind of variegated yarn on the pattern. And I have a pattern with pictures if you're interested on the PDF. You can buy that from either of my shops on Etsy or Ravelry. I have a newsletter that comes out every Sunday. You can sign up from that from any page on my website. Is there anything else I'm forgetting here? Oh, I'm on Pinterest. If you're there, I have a board on Pinterest where I share my stuff, and also there's a group board where a lot of other designers share their stuff as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. Bye.